Hey, pal. You ready? Can you pick me up at 6:30?
I'm here.
Too late.
I'll go for 5 minutes. Move it. You're killing me. You know what, Dad? I'm good.
It may be quite a while before he's ready, but our Subaru Legacy will be waiting for him.
It's not just a sedan, it's a Subaru.
University Subaru.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Wednesday, September the 23rd. And today, if I'm correct, is the first day of autumn. I think it starts around 3:30 or 4 o'clock this afternoon. First day of fall.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought it was on September 21st.
So did I.
22nd, but this year it's on the 23rd. We'll figure that one out. Walter Bargen is with us, our first Poet Laureate of Missouri. Welcome to Radio Friends,
Glad
Walter.
to be back.
And you're going to read a couple of poems to us
If we
today.
have time.
Yeah, Trouble Behind Glass Doors. Tell me about that book.
Well, the title, Trouble Behind Glass Doors. So all of our troubles, everybody else knows about. They're visible to everyone else. So trouble behind glass doors, we're not really hiding anything.
No.
You know, we live in communities. Everyone to some degree knows something about the troubles we are experiencing.
Yeah.
So those troubles kind of become a community event. And so that's what this book is. It's the trouble behind glass doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
A couple of poems in here that you wanted to share. The first one that you were going to read was written. Tell us the story behind that.
When I was appointed the Poet Laureate of Missouri, and it was a work in progress by the people who made the appointment, by the people who defined what they thought a Poet Laureate was. And one of the things that they were going to require was that the Poet Laureate write a poem about the state of Missouri. Well, I'm going, what am I going to write about? I mean, that's such a wide subject, and how could I do it justice? How could I include Kansas City and St. Louis and Springfield and, all the history that is involved? That would be a long-term project to do something like that. And then one evening, shortly after I was appointed the Poet Laureate, before it actually became a formal appointment, I walked outside. It was a full moon night, and I happened to look up at the moon, and I thought about the 1968 experience of the first men walking on the moon, and I started writing this poem, and I realized that the poem was really about how important stories are to us, that stories are essential to defining who we are, and that really we can't live without stories, because without stories we don't know who we are.
Right.
And that became my state poem.
All right.
But I wrote the poem, and then they decided that no, that wasn't a requirement for being Poet Laureate, because they didn't want someone to suffer from writer's block as a result of having to do something like that. But still, it was my poem for the state. And
Yeah, let's hold this up.
Okay.
Because this is the poem.
it's called a broadside. It's printed on one piece of paper, and this is handmade paper.
Yeah.
And this was dedicated, Missouri Moonwalk.
So if you want to see what we're talking about, you can watch this segment. Go to kbia.org and watch the vodcast. And this, you gave a framed copy of this to Matt Blunt, right?
Yes, there was a ceremony down in the governor's office, and I gave him a framed copy of it.
Would
yes.
you read the poem for us now?
Yes, I would. I'll read it unless you want to hold that up.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
And it does appear in the book Trouble Behind Glass Doors.
Okay, so this was a poem that was written as a state poem.
As a state poem.
Right.
And it's a story about the importance of story.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's Walter Bargen.
Moonwalk, Missouri. Not to forget what's important, I let the screen door slam behind me. An alarm, an exclamation, an emphatic here, now. I inhale deeply, hear the flutter of wings. My feet never leave the ground. An awkward jump off the porch isn't flight. Years of humus compress underfoot. Not even a first moonstep, nothing for mankind, at best a kind man. The moon double-barreling down light, the intensity of cosmic reflection like these worked words made to feel light, drawing out the indelible oak and hickory shadows, a stark ink writing toward another season. Winter's introduction long past, tonight's still cold. A barred owl opens the booming forest of its voice. I enter but come no closer to seeing it. I have no bold moves left. My small steps leave leaves little disturbed in their decomposing dreams. 4 walls, not enough. Ceiling, just another floor. How can we live without the belted sparkle of Orion as he stalks forever? The sky, star-pierced. Constellations tattooed to their stories. Such epics, the accumulated wisdom to our ends. The telling lives in us. We are pierced that deeply. We celebrate that much.
And you were inspired to write that poem by stepping outside on a full moon night.
Yes. And
Did it come to you all at once, or did it take a couple of days?
I think I walked back inside and I wrote the first draft, and then there were a few revisions that might have followed that, but it happened pretty immediately.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You can be trying to do something, and then all at once you will see something or hear something that inspires you, and it takes off.
Yes, that's, I think, for me, poetry at its best. That's when I'm most excited about poetry, when like an image comes to mind and it just kind of shocks me awake, and I see something that I've seen time and time again, but I see it for the first time.
In a different light.
In a new light. Yes.
And I almost look at that as divine intervention, too.
Okay. I mean, for example, I had been canoeing for a couple of weeks in northern Minnesota in the Boundary Waters, and I'm seeing sunlight on water, and I keep thinking, how do I get beyond the cliche of describing sunlight on water? And then this image came to me. On the crest of each wave, the day dances with white tap shoes.
Oh.
And I thought, that's it. I felt like I was walking on water when I came up with that image.
Hey, Walter Bargen, it's always a pleasure having you here, our first Missouri Poet Laureate. You got to come back again. He's got interesting stories about snakes. Oh, as they slither around. Good having you. The book is available where? All the time.
Barnes & Noble, Yellow Dog Books, and maybe the Peace Nook.
Okay. Can you get it on Amazon?
Yes, you can.
On
This
Amazon.com
book is on Amazon.
Trouble Behind Glass Doors. Thank you so much for coming by.
Well, thank you for having
tomorrow,
me.
nutrition and dietetics and MU Healthcare. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.